So today's video kind of latches on to yesterday's because I'm going to be talking about risk taking. Oh, I have the elytra by the way. So yeah, I said there was going to be outcomes after that. I made an E-man farm, or we made an E-man farm too. So that's why I got some pretty good levels. But anyways, so taking risks is essential and crucial for personal growth because sometimes you won't want to do something, and there's probably many times where you won't want to do something, but you kind of just have to do it because it's just so crucial to personal growth. Oops. And you need to do that because it's kind of like staying in your comfort zone. You need to get out of it, obviously. You need to get out of your comfort zone because you just won't change if you don't, right? And it's really important. You need to understand risk taking. You need to understand what an actual risk is, what the difference between making like calculated and planned risk than just like silly mistakes and like reckless planning. And you need to know like psychological, I don't know, but like like, and you need to have like barriers that hold people back from taking risks, and such as like sometimes a lot of people will have fear of like failure and uncertainty, and you can't let that fear get to you. You can't let that fear harm you, and you can't let it make you think like, hey, I can't do this because I won't be good at it, or like, hey, this is bad because, you know, well, you can think like, obviously you can plan like, hey, is this actually a bad thing? And sometimes it will actually be a bad thing, but oftentimes you just need to take the risk. Like, you never know. And that's why there's benefits to taking risks, which is like personal growth, as I said before, and it can lead to new experiences, it can lead to different skills, it can lead to new discoveries in your life. Like say like, oh, I'm good at this now, or like, hey, this isn't that bad, I can actually do this now. And it's like, and professional advancement, everything like that. And how taking risks, it can open up new opportunities in your life. It's not just, oh, I'm living the same life every day. Because life, you should live it to the fullest, obviously. I'm all about like living your own life, living a different life, as you've probably heard in the last two videos. And you can build resilience with that because you know like how you can build resilience by taking risks. Because it teaches you how to handle like certain like setbacks, and it teaches you how you can have like different changes in life. And I'm gonna discuss some opportunities to take some calculated risks. So, possible rewards is like, hey, if I take a risk in like trying out a new subject, like, or like doing something that I never thought would be fun, like let's say working on a certain project, like, oh, this is not gonna be fun, like I hate group projects. But you might grow to find like, hey, I actually like group projects. Personally, I've tried it before, and calculated, I've calculated. Well, no, I believe I'm not great with working in groups. I just don't like group projects, and I've tried it many, many times, obviously. But like, you might think it might be different for you. Who knows? Like, you could try your own group project, or you could try your own way of thinking, in your own way. Like, oh, if I actually do this, maybe I'll like it. So I encourage everyone to try to make risks for something they didn't like in the past, because who knows? You might like it in the future, or you might like it now, right? Like, it's the same. I don't want to compare it to food, but I can kind of compare it to food. Let's say you don't like tomatoes when you were like 5. I mean, that's pretty common. Kids don't like vegetables, but like when you're like now, however old you are, I encourage you to try a tomato or whatever you don't like and see if you like it. If you do like it, I mean, yeah. But if you don't like it, well, now you know, right? So now you could either, there's two outcomes of that. Hey, I like a tomato. Tomatoes are good. I can put it on my burger. I can put it, and like, hey, they're actually pretty good. But now I know, like, hey, um, I don't like tomatoes still, and I'm not gonna put them on my burger. So you took a risk, and that's a very light risk. That's not a great example, but I think you get what I mean, right? And you can plan and prepare. Let's say you're doing higher risks, like it's not just eating a tomato this time. You can have a planned risk, like, but you have to start small. You have to build the confidence before taking bigger challenges, right? And that's why you need to know certain things, like like embracing uncertainty, right? Because like you sometimes you won't know what will happen when you take a risk. You won't know how uh, there could be uncertainty there, and you won't know like, hey, um, I know like, wow, this is cool, but like, hey, I'm gonna take it slow because this is a pretty good risk, or this is a pretty high risk, maybe high reward, but you never know, and you just don't want that to be in a way where like, oh, it ruins my life, because you don't want to ruin your life. And you want to overcome the fear of failure, right? Because failure is going to happen to everyone in life, right? It's not, you don't learn without failure, in my opinion, because you need failure to grow as a person. And you need to overcome it because you need, ways you can do that is by shifting your perspective. You can have, because failure, when you view it as a learning opportunity, you need to do that because when you view it as a learning opportunity rather than a setback, you learn from your mistakes and you're like, hey, I won't do this in the future. Because now you know, like, hey, I fixed myself. And and then you build your support and you know like, oh my gosh, and you have to surround people with people who are supporting you now. Because I know there's many friends, like obviously you don't want fake friends, but there's many people who will be a fake friend. You need to find that, right? Because obviously you won't have perfect friends, sadly, that's just life. So it's important to have all these things. And these are like the ideal scenarios, obviously. Because you need that kind of like perfect stuff. You need to practice self-compassion. You need to remind yourself that if something doesn't go as planned, it's just, it's fine because that's just a setback. As I said before, mistakes are a learning opportunity. They're not a failure. Mistakes just help you learn, like, hey, I won't do this in the future, and that's great. Learning opportunities are great. So, in conclusion, I know it's pretty loud. I'm sorry. I left my XP orbs. Someone else will get this. I don't care. I have 61 levels. But anyways, I'll end it here actually. Um, so yeah, take learning opportunities, take risks, and if you need to take risks, or if it's hard for you to take risks, build up the confidence to do so. Build up the confidence to be like, hey, this isn't so bad. I can do this myself. And you'll be like, hey, and then you need to surround yourself around good people and helpful people. You need to surround yourself around key people who will encourage you, and you need to learn that mistakes aren't a setback or aren't a failure, they're a learning opportunity. So in conclusion, take risks because and plan them out because they could help you a lot. And they could help you in ways where like, hey, I know what I'm doing and now I know not to do that in the future. So if this helped you, be sure to like and comment your experience because I can talk about it in the future and maybe next video actually. And share this to someone who needs help taking risks and a change in their life, right? And if you like that, yeah. Anyways, reflect on the areas of your life where you could take more risks. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys tomorrow.